President Obama testifies that we're not at war with Islam. Islam is a religion of peace, refuses to say Islamic terrorism. Whose testimony do you believe? His or the testimony of the millions of men and women and children who have suffered and died under the sword of Muhammad for centuries? We've got to understand that the atrocities in Paris, Chattanooga, San Bernardino, London, at the Twin Towers, and nations around the world, these actions reflect the words and the deeds, the often bloody deeds, acts of war from Muhammad. Now, here are some actions that we can take as individuals and in our communities, all right? First of all, I want to invite you to encourage your friends to watch this show. Now, we're on about 130 stations right now. But once the show's over, it's over. Well, all of our shows are online, and they're all free. So if you see something on this show, like, man, I wish my pastor could see this, or man, I wish my worker or coworker could see this, send them to the website, voiceofresistance.com, and they can watch any show we've done. They can pull them up by topic. And if you're a part of the Tea Party or any number of different groups in homes or churches, then go ahead. Tell your friends about this. Tell them, look, you need to watch Randall if you want to understand Islam. This is a good starting place. Understand what we're facing. But another thing that you can do, and that we all should do, is to study Islam on Muhammad's terms. Let Muhammad speak for himself. Don't read what other people say about him. Read him, okay? A starting place is to read the life of Muhammad. This is the most sacred biography, according to Muslim scholars, about Muhammad's life. It's written by a man named Ibn Ishaq. It's the gold standard of biographies on Muhammad. Today's headlines of terror reflect that record of horror. But if you really want to focus on just Muhammad's words, read various collections of hadith. Okay? There's the spelling of the word, hadith. Sometimes it's with one D, sometimes it's with two. And there are several online collections in English of the hadith with search engines to focus on key words. All right? So once you get to a hadith that you want to study various words like jihad, women, slavery, sex slaves, concubines, hostages, beheadings, Jews, those who mock Muhammad. You can figure out words to put in the search engines, and then suddenly you're going to have sometimes dozens, sometimes hundreds of hadith of Muhammad talking about things so brutal that we want to believe that this cannot possibly be true, but it is true. Study Sharia law. Read this book, The Reliance of the Traveler. Okay? This is one of the oldest volumes on Sharia law on the planet. And when you read it, it's a fairly quick read. This book will show you why Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Egypt, Yemen, so many other Muslim nations have oppressive laws, why they persecute and kill non-Muslims. It's right there in Sharia law. And while Western nations are just beginning to grasp the threat of Sharia law, non-Muslims around the world have lived under Sharia law for centuries. For example, the Coptic Christians of Egypt have suffered brutality, subjugation, and death for 1,300 years just because they are Christians and they refuse to give up their Christian faith, and they live amongst Muslims who are ruling under the concepts of Sharia law. Those Coptic Christians are not the victims of random terrorism. They are the victims of systematic persecution and murder under Islamic Sharia law. So read Sharia law so that you can understand that when President Obama tells us we're not at war with Islam, he's lying, because Islam is at war with us.